how to enable foundation models in your generative to build your generative AI applications on AWS Cloud in a service called Amazon Bedrock. This is what we're going to cover in this video. So to give you some context, if you are planning to develop any generative applications using AWS services, first and most important thing is you'll be using a service called AWS Bedrock. And so make sure you understand and have good clarity on Amazon Bedrock. That's first and important thing for any developing or building any generative AI application on AWS Cloud. Second thing is that you'll be building the application using foundation models. And what that foundation model may be, as we go inside the video, you'll understand that. But in order to use those foundation models, there are foundation models available from different companies, including Amazon and third-party companies who are in the space of AI or advanced AIs. So those, they have produced their foundation models, and then you have to incorporate or you have to enable them in your AWS account. This is what we are going to cover in this video. And this is also the first lab you probably might be doing if you're working on generative AI applications, Amazon Bedrock, and so on as well. So to give you some context, my name is Atul from team K21Academy. I've helped more than 40,000 plus individuals like you, and I've more than close to 2.5 decades of IT experience. Last more than a decade in cloud, multi-cloud, and last 2, 3 years has been on AI, machine learning, and that you'll be seeing, or generative AI as well. So the video that you're going to see is coming from our generative AI, building generative AI applications on AWS Cloud AI and machine learning program on AWS Cloud. So you might hear some references, so ignore those references. And also, if you want to know more about that program or to a free class on how to basically build, uh, learn, and earn your for AI and machine learning on AWS Cloud, then there will be a free class. I'll be putting into the description section on that free class, and also on the maybe the comments or on that below this video. Also, when you're performing this lab, which I'm going to give in this, uh, let me know if you have any questions, if you struggle, if you need any help, any dependencies, or any point in time if things change or if you can't find what you're looking for, leave them under as a comment section as well. So just to give you context, this video has been taken from the training. So there might be some references about the training, so ignore that part, but you should be able to perform and go to here, Amazon Bedrock, searching Bedrock, and then you should be able to enable these foundation models that you see. So let's check it out, that video, please. So first, as we do typically, I'll explain you the context of the video of this lab. Also, I'll explain you what is foundation model, what is Bedrock, or any other dependencies that you need to know. And then we'll actually going to do this as well. So this is where we basically typically explain you the context of this. So we'll first, as I said, explain you the description. We'll also cover what we're going to look into this lab. And typically we run all our labs like this. We introduce what this lab is about. We'll also cover what is Bedrock, and then what is playground, because we are going to enable foundation model. So I'll explain you what is foundation model. That happens through something called as playground. So what that playground is, and then we'll look at what is the documentation link related to, or if you want to go further deeper into these topics which I mentioned, you can look at, or what document we have used to prepare this step-by-step hands-on lab. We'll also help you in some supporting documents, like for example, in what places or regions the Bedrock is supported, what are the basic key concepts, etc., that will help you to understand this better as well. We'll also look at what are the prerequisite. So you should have done those things before working on this lab, or it will be those things will be required. So we'll look at those prerequisite as well. Then we'll actually do the stuff like any other labs that we do. So we'll actually enable it, and we'll explain you what of these as we move forward. And I'm going to do it so that you can go through these first and then perform it after that. Also, I'm going to share towards, and it's important to share your learning. Now, for two reasons. First reason is that you build an authority on that domain, and second is when interviewer is going to come and look at your profile, they will see whether you have done these things or not. But you need to present like not a student, but either as an authority or someone who has been doing it for quite a number of years. And then I'll explain you when we do and post it as you go. So go as an authority and saying you were working for a client, or hey, if you're doing this, do these things, and I'll explain you as we move forward as well. And also make sure you share in our WhatsApp group so that I know that you'll be making progress and I know you're working. Also, we'll look at if we need to clean up a particular lab, because some labs there might be slight charge, but if you leave them running, then you might get a bill even though it's a free account. So we'll tell that, but in this particular lab, there is no cost. It's not absolutely free and you can leave it running. So we'll cover that as well finally. And then if any troubleshooting, any issues that encounter, uh, whether while we perform this lab or anyone else perform the lab, any issues that encountered will be covered here as well. So with that, let's go and first look at what exactly this Bedrock is and what exactly is foundation model, because that's the first fundamental thing. And again, in order with this video, there'll be supporting a theoretical part as well that will help you to understand these concepts as well. So first is we are going to, when you're generating the application, like any generative AI application, you're using something called as underlying foundation model. So what this foundation model is, a these are a generative AI large scale pre-trained models that are designed to understand and generate human-like content. So you might be, for example, you might have seen ChatGPT, or if not, you will see that soon, where you give some content, some details to it, and it'll go and extract, or it'll give you some content output as well. Or you can give it some descriptions, and it can split out now images and so on. So these models are trained on a vast amount of internet scale data, and these are done by different companies, different models as well. So they can these are the patterns and structures in language, image, and other human data type they can do. Now these will you can further train it, because these are self-sufficient, but you can further train it, you can play with that, and you can modify as well. And some of the examples that we're going to look at is, you probably already know GPT, which is for text generation. There's a DALL-E, which is for image generation, and there are other examples we'll see. So we're going to use these foundation models from different companies that are available, and then you're going to use them into or enable them into Amazon Bedrock that you see. So this is a Bedrock. So Bedrock, so if you look at, if you're new, again, we said we're going to cover, there might be already a theory part, or you will see them in detail as well. So Bedrock is a cloud service from AWS that allows developers or individuals like you and me to build and deploy the generative AI applications mainly. But there is a machine learning models as well. There's another service which is SageMaker, which we'll see that as we move forward inside the program. But this is mainly for generative AI, but you can build your own machine learning models as well manually or easily as well. And you can enhance as well those machine learning models as well. So it's a service that you're going to see that as well. So in this lab, so first thing, okay, so now before that, you need to basically request the access to the foundation model. So think of it as like you're working in a kitchen and you are going to prepare a dish. So you have a kitchen, and also Bedrock, think of it as like a, and I'm giving you a very basic layman term. You have a kitchen, think of it as a Bedrock, and in that you want to prepare a dish, but then you need to you for to prepare a dish, you probably might do the vegetables. You might have different, or maybe milk or honey or spices or vegetables or fruits and whatever you want to mix and match. That's, think of it as a foundation models, and based on those foundation models, you can build your own generative application, generative AI application as well. So that's what we are going to look into this particular lab. So you can further read what is Bedrock, fully managed service, high performance foundation models from a leading AI companies. So Amazon has own foundation models, but then other companies like AI21 Lab, and there's a Anthropic, Coherence, Meta, Stability AI, and all those through single API that you will be seeing as well behind the scene. So you can experiment with various top foundation models, or you can customize, and then you can further fine tune, and RAG will see that RAG and etc. later. And then we'll also see agents. Agents will be basically integrating with third party or other applications, that we'll see agents as well. As we move forward, we're going to cover more details as well, so don't worry about it. It's a complete serverless application, which means you're not managing infrastructure, you're not managing storage, you're not managing uh, memory or CPU. Basically, you get a service and then you start using them. These are some of the companies that you will see moving forward, like you have from A1, AI21, Titan from Amazon, Meta, you have, and so on, these services as well. Now, uh, there's a concept of playground, and playground is nothing but an interactive environment that allows users to experiment and with fine-tuned machine learning models directly on the Bedrock platform. So there are few playgrounds that you'll be seeing, which is chat, text, and so on. You will be seeing those playgrounds as we move forward. Now, you can look at how to enable foundation model. There is a documentation available. You can also see how to use a playground as we move forward in the labs. You will see that. also, Bedrock is not available currently. I'm recording this in June or July or mid 2024. So it's only available in selective regions, which means what is the region? We'll see that as well. But I also give you, as a part of this training, you'll also getting the basics of AWS Cloud. In that, we have covered things like region, availability zone, and other concepts as well. So you're going to learn as well. And as I go inside the program, I'll show it to explain to you as well. Now, there's also pricing. The pricing will depend on the features and type of services that you do. You can look at the pricing from here. And there's some basic key concepts. As we move forward inside the program, we're going to go deeper and deeper on those things like foundation model. I've given you a very 30,000 foot view, but by the time you complete this program, you will have much more better understanding of what is foundation model is. We'll also look at the base model, model inference, prompts, tokens. Tokens play also very important roles. Prompt you might already know, asking and something that's a prompting basically. But there are different levels of prompts, basic and advanced prompts we'll be learning moving forward. Then tokens, interesting concepts you will be understanding, and model parameters, inference parameters, playgrounds, embedding, and those concepts are here. But we'll as move forward, don't worry, we're going to cover everything. And as I said, my promise is by end of this program, you will have much easy to understand and grasp these concepts. Will be easy for you. Now, prerequisite, you should have a already either an existing AWS account, free or paid account. And if you don't have, go to our beginners course. So there's a link on Cloud School where you're watching this. I'm assuming that you're watching this on the video. Um, so go there. And this is the AWS for beginners. In that, I have all the like basically make sure you understand the basic concepts. You can skip that for now if you want to focus just on generative AI on AWS Cloud. But make sure that you do this one hands-on lab, which is create a AWS free account if you don't have one. If you already have one, you can use that. No problem. And then second thing is once you have that lab, I'm going to show you, I'm already logged into the account. So, but use this that also has a step on how to create an account and then how to then log in and play with an console as well. Now, second thing you should be doing is also create a billing alert, which is again on the same link is there, but you go straight away on this lab, which is a cloud billing alerts. The reason for that important for you to understand this billing and alert is because what happens is even though AWS says it's free, not all services are free. And also they are not unlimited time free. You get a free account for 1 year, but it's only the selective services. And that too also a particular time window for example, you get 750 minutes, which is more than enough, a lot on of a compute or EC2 machines, but that for a particular shape of EC2 machine. Similarly, a storage of I think they give 5 gigabytes or 25 gigabytes on of storage, but then 25 gigabytes only, which is more than enough I think for playing environments. So as we do this program, there'll be most of the labs you will be able to do free, but there's certain labs that you'll be doing might charge dollar or maybe under $1 or max $2-3. But then we'll notify you that which is free and which is not free. So this is absolutely free lab, but so that we don't get charged, or if there's any charge, you get email notification if you hit $1 or $2. So that's basically to keep you in control on that. Just wanted to highlight on that point. So with that, there's no cost associated for this particular lab, which is just we are enabling some tick box and say, yes, you can use them now as well. So first and most important is you've logged into the AWS console. So I think I've already logged in. I'll double check in here. This is I've already logged in from my account. I've just created an account, new account on totally new here. Now, this is a console of AWS console that you see. Now, this is my account name, but this is my region in which I'm logged in. There is a geographical location. You can create any region or you can create these services in any region as long as Bedrock support. So what you're going to do is you're going to come here and search for Bedrock, Bedrock, and click on that. And if you are in a region on this like which is not supported, you'll get a warning like this, hey, it's only these regions are supported. So if you see here, these regions are supported. So I'm going to go and pick one of those. The best thing is I think North Virginia, US East, which is I think if I'm not wrong, North Virginia. Let me double check it. So if you drop down here, US East is the for I think the primary region in which they test everything, and including billing is all here in US East as well. So you click on North Virginia, and then you search. So select any of. I'm going to pick North Virginia, and I think for this whole lab we can stick to this one as well. So select Bedrock, and then select this particular part as well. So you go first time. Um, and now it's US East one. So this is, I can see this is the US East one, and then it's the Bedrock surveys. Now, first time you get and say, Amazon Bedrock. It's the easiest way to build and scale a generative AI application with foundation models. And it'll tell you, I think, probably look about all those things which I mentioned. These are the quick, easy use cases. You can do a text generation. Will do chatbots. We'll do search. We'll text summarization, image generation, personalization. We'll see those as we move forward. And then this foundation model I was talking about from a leading AI startups in Amazon. So there's a AI21 Labs, Jurassic 2. There's a Claude, there's a Command, there's a Stable Diffusion, there's Amazon Titan, which is the basically these are the models available. There's a from Meta as well, and so on. So I'll say yes, text start, and I think you have to enable or see that on the first time on every region, new region you select, saying that it also gives you to use Amazon Bedrock request, you must access to a specific foundation models. To do so, you will need to have the correct IAM permission. Now, by default, I've logged in as a root account. There's a concept of root account and as a IAM user. I'm not going to go inside that right now, but inside the program, I think we have covered. Inside that, you have for beginners that have concept of root user and IAM user and a other user type ways to access AWS console. So look at that. But for now, most of the labs I would suggest you to do with uh, uh, with with the root account, which is a super user. You don't need to give any permission. But if you create another user or someone have given you a user, you may or may not have access to that, and that's where you need to give permission to that user. But I'm assuming you already have a super user. Later, we have a separate program, which is AWS Infrastructure Job Identity Program. In that, you learn and go deeper into these permissions, creating roles, assigning roles, and so on. So I'm assuming you already have that. And you can say, come here and say, manage models. You can come directly as well. Or I can come back again here, begin with, and I can say, I'll give you another way of coming here. You can ignore it and come back. Let's assume you land again. You did not click on any of those. So we come again, get started again here. Again, we got the same message. And this is where you go and look at a model access. So basically, this is where you're granting an access now. Um, so this is an option, few options. You can enable all the models or you can enable a specific model. You decide whether you want to give access yourself to all the models or on a specific models. And this maybe you can be a Bedrock administrator and you give granting access. You can control all those things. I'm not going to go into permissions right now. And there are currently 32 base models available for me right now. If you look at, let me move this distracting. So I have from AI21 Labs, this is 3 models and none of them right now is granted to me. Amazon has 7 models, then I have Anthropic 5, then I have a Cohere 6, and then there is a Meta 6, Mistral AI 4, Stability AI 1. So I can pick it. So let's see in the documentation because we are going to use that and you can enable them later as well. So we have selected this, we've done this, we have enabled all model, specific model, you can access it from here. And or you can go to the playground and you can play with the playground as well. So whatever playground required for us. So playground, so that's one. Or I can go on Amazon and then say that I can select all of them or I can select one of them. This is how you're going to enable. Or you can, other option is you can go here onto the playground. And what these are playground, I will be explaining you. I'll explaining you. So there's a base model I was saying. Within foundation model, there's a base model, custom model, and you can import other models as well as we move forward. Then there is a playground, chat playground, text playground, and image playground. This is more for chat, as the name suggests, it's for text, and this is for image. And these ultimately are and there is something called modality. We're going to go into these concepts later as we move forward. But modality is basically what type of this model, foundation model is for text, basically. This is for embedding. This is for video. I think there will be image as well. And as you see, there'll be image available here for that. And these kind of models that you see. So I can go and select from here. Maybe I can say, um, available to request, and these are available to request as well. So I'm going to pick these models from here, or I'm going to go come here. This is another method of coming, and then I'm saying select a model, and from here this is a method. So I'm selecting a model, and now do I select Amazon? So these I'll be clicking it. So first I'm going to do is a request access here. Just give me 1 minute. So coming here and saying request access, I'm again on the same page as we saw earlier, which is, let me close this, cancel this for now and say model access. This is where we were. And we are going to say that, let me select and say enable specific model, and you can now select here. So if I go back and let me explain you again. So we were on a Bedrock here. So this model access, and you click on enable all model or enable a specific model. Let's enable on a specific models for now. So I'm going to select Amazon ones, and let's request all the Amazon ones, and we can pick future ones as we need it. Or even from here also, I'm going to select only these text one only, and I'll do image later. Okay, but feel free to change them as per your choice. Come on. Okay, so I think uncheck it and uncheck it. It's a little bit slow. Um, okay, so leave it as it is. Select this and then click on next. Very self-explanatory. So I'm requesting access and then saying use cases details. Right now there's no use cases. I'm saying terms and conditions. Verify the terms and conditions and then click on submit here. Um, on here. So it's being submitted. It's being granted and saying immediately within probably few minutes you got 3 to 7 access granted here. Uh, Now, other thing you might notice that if you select some model access might even request you. So when you click on next on this documentation, they might ask you, depending on some certain scenarios, which is maybe it's a model or maybe the permissions of the user, it might ask you the details like what is the company name and company website. And if you don't have any company, if you're doing it personal, you can use K21 Academy and K21Academy.com as well. What industry you operate, and then intended users are for external users or internal users, and maybe use cases as well. So I didn't encounter it yet, but I think someone from my team encountered. So we just click on, or if you don't get this, ignore that, don't worry about it, and then click submit. And then in within few minutes, you'll be getting a, let me show it to you, and you will be getting access onto. So if I see model access, if we come back on request a model access, so I've requested for uh, initial Amazon ones, these ones, and then later I also added AI to one. No, not I think the bottom ones. In progress. So this was I did for stability and it's being gone to for approval. So it'll come back once it's come back. So that's pretty much in this lab enable. Later part, we're going to go and actually use these models to build and do some playgrounds like maybe chat or text or whatever we saw, one of those playgrounds that we saw earlier. Now, before we move forward, I think whatever you've learned in this video, as I said, share it on LinkedIn. And how you share is maybe you can say Bedrock enable foundation model, and you write down and say what is foundation model, and say, hey, if you're doing any generative AI application, if you're building any generative AI application on AWS cloud using Bedrock, remember these things. And then you can say, first of all, what is foundation model? What is playgrounds that we saw? What these different companies options are available? And you can say, first thing you have to do is you have to enable the access to that model so that you can use them in later. So do these the checklist. Some things you have learned that it's not available for all these regions. This is the pricing. This is so, and so that you publish and ask users to comment as well. That way they will know that, or an employer when they're going and are hiring you, they will see that, oh, looks like you know the stuff you're talking about. So post that. There's some examples on that LinkedIn, and if you want to share it, tag myself. I think it's my LinkedIn profile, and then also tag K21 Academy so that we can increase the reach and we can share it further. So it brings to attention of the companies and the individuals who are hiring or recruiters who are hiring as well. Also, make sure you join or mention this in our WhatsApp group, because when you share it WhatsApp group, two things will happen. First, I'll know that you've completed this lab and you're making progress. It'll inspire me to do those labs and more labs. It'll also inspire other members to do these labs. Third thing it will happen is then it will also inspire you to do more labs, because that will give you a dopamine effect on saying your mind will say, oh, wow, you've achieved something, and you will try to do more and more of those. So make sure you perform those labs. It's important, and share it with others. Now, there's nothing to clean up. You can leave it as it's running. As I said, there's no cost involved into that. And if you hit only one issue was there, region was not supported, but I hope now you have a clarity on these things. But you hit a problem, make sure that you come and watch this lab first, so that we make sure that you know, um, you have that issue reported here. Look at that first. If you can't, you know you can ask in WhatsApp group, or you can raise a ticket, or you can come into the community like this and post a question here in this community. With that, this is Atul from Team K21 Academy. Give me the feedback. Did you enjoy this? This is the first and the most like the basic thing that it'll be doing, but it'll set the tone. I want to go very detailed videos explaining what we are doing, why we are doing. Be hungry, be curious onto things like, as I said, why you're doing, and if anything is not clear, leave them under comment section. I'll make sure that I'll answer that, and then also make sure that you ask questions in WhatsApp group. And with that, move to the next lab where we're going to actually use these foundation model and actually going to play this. Give me feedback. As I said, I would love to know what we can do to improve. One of the core values are 1% improvement every day. So give me constructive feedback in terms of if you like it or anything should be added. I think self-explanatory, but there's always scope of improvement. I would love to hear. With that, this is Atul, and let's move on to the next lab now from here.